One, stop everything you are doing right now and simply breathe. Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. What I am about to share with you is not merely a message. It is a spiritual decree that has the potential to alter the very atmosphere of your home and your mind. There is a sound that recently broke the barrier of celestial silence, a frequency that has shifted the tectonic plates of your destiny. It was not the sound of archangels blowing trumpets, nor was it the terrifying thunder of judgment. It was something far rarer, far more intimate, and infinitely more powerful. It was the sound of God laughing. Yes, you heard that correctly. The creator of the universe, the one who holds galaxies together with the mere resonance of his voice, looked at your life, examined your recent trajectory, and laughed with pure, unadulterated joy. This laughter has sent a shockwave so profound through the spiritual realms that it caught the forces of darkness completely off guard. You must understand that the enemy, despite his malice, is a strategist. He has spent millennia observing human nature, calculating breaking points, and engineering scenarios for destruction. He had calculated your fall down to the mathematical probability. He had designed the perfect storm to induce your emotional and spiritual collapse. But you, against all odds and against every prediction of hell, did the unthinkable. You surprised the enemy, and in doing so, you brought delight to the heart of God. Before we go deeper into how you dismantled this trap, I want to offer you a map for what comes next. Now that you are awakening to who you really are, you need a structure to hold this new power. If you feel that this knowledge is resonating with your spirit, I invite you to explore the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This is not just a collection of words. It is a practical navigational tool, a trilogy designed specifically for the chosen to awaken to their true identity, heal the invisible locks that have held them back, and expand with stability. It is about learning how to receive, sustain, and multiply your blessings without guilt. Whether you prefer to read the ebook or listen to the audiobook, this resource is a companion for your journey. You can find the link in the pinned comment or description below. It is time to stop guessing and start walking with certainty. To truly comprehend the magnitude of this event, this divine laughter, we need to rewind the tape. We need to revisit that dark, suffocating season you have just walked through, or perhaps the very tail end of the storm you are currently emerging from. Think back to the days when the pressure wasn't just mental, it felt physical, like a weight pressing against your chest. You remember those nights, staring at the ceiling, questioning if your prayers were simply bouncing off a roof of brass. To the outside world, you maintained the facade. You smiled, you went to work, you helped others. But internally, the foundations were trembling. The enemy was betting everything on this season. He turned up the heat, intensified the misunderstandings, and whispered relentless lies of abandonment into your ear. His strategy was classic because, historically, it works. He applies pressure until the human spirit cracks, until the person becomes bitter, curses their fate, and reacts out of ego, thereby destroying their own destiny. He was waiting for you to scream. He was waiting for you to take justice into your own hands, to become cynical, cold, and vengeful. If you have felt that specific temptation to burn bridges recently, you know exactly the fire I'm speaking of. And if this speaks to your experience, take a moment to like this video, not for the algorithm, but as a signal that you are present and listening. But this is where the script flipped. This is where you introduced a variable that the enemy's equation could not process. Instead of breaking, you bowed. Instead of screaming accusations at the sky, you went silent before men and poured out your soul before God. You felt the pain, absolutely. You cried, yes. But you did not allow the pain to ferment into poison. You refused the invitation to sit at the table of bitterness. When you had every human justification to seek revenge, to expose those who betrayed you, to cause a scene that would vindicate your ego, you chose the road less traveled. You chose the path of silent trust. You decided that if God allowed the furnace, it was because he trusted the quality of the gold within you. It was in that precise moment of surrender that God laughed. It was not a laugh of mockery. It was the proud laughter of a father watching his child overcome their own base nature. God saw you choose spirit over flesh. He saw you choose maturity over the immediate gratification of the ego. The enemy is a master of fallen psychology. He knows that trauma usually generates more trauma, that a wound usually begets a wound. He expected a reaction based on your past, based on your old triggers, but you reacted based on your future. You reacted based on your identity in Christ. You broke a generational cycle in that moment of silence. You stopped the wheel of repetition. When you did this, hell entered a state of confusion. The silence you might be sensing from the enemy right now is not because he has given up. It is because he is stunned. He does not know how to attack someone who does not bite the bait. He does not know how to dismantle a fortress that is already on its knees before God. This attitude of yours, this silent resistance, is the ultimate proof that you were not failing, as you might have thought. You were being forged. The feeling that nothing was happening was an illusion. In the invisible realm, you were growing in authority. Real spiritual authority is never given to the loud. It is entrusted to the proven. God was watching how you handled the delay, the injustice, the loneliness. And because you handled it with integrity, because you kept your heart pure even when the environment was toxic, you have been approved for the next level. God's laughter is the seal of your approval. It is the certification that you passed the test. If you are ready to receive that certification, consider subscribing to the channel so we can continue to build this fortress of wisdom together. Now you must understand what this implies for your immediate future. Where there was chaos, God is bringing divine order. Where there was mental fog, a supernatural clarity is beginning to settle in. You will notice, or perhaps you are already noticing, that you no longer have patience for unnecessary drama. You no longer feel the compulsive need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. This is not arrogance. This is the fruit of maturity. God is removing the static and the noise from your life so that you can hear the specific instructions for the next phase. Those people who walked out, those doors that slammed shut in your face, that was not loss. That was protection and alignment. God was clearing the stage for the new scene he has written. You are not behind schedule, chosen one. God's timing is impeccable. The season of silence was an incubator. The enemy tried to use the silence to bury you, thinking you were a seed that would rot. But God used that same silence to drive your roots deep into the bedrock of his truth. And now, because you are rooted, you can grow high without toppling over. What comes next will surprise everyone, including you. But it will not surprise God, for he has already seen it, laughed in delight and approved it. Maintain your stance. Keep this posture of spiritual nobility. The heavens are celebrating your victory in the secret place, and what was won in the dark will soon be manifested in the light. The devil lost his wager on your soul. You have won. But as you stand in this victory, there is a new sensitivity awakening in you, a new way of seeing the world that might feel strange at first, almost as if your eyes are adjusting to a brighter light. This brightness is not blinding. It is revealing. It is the light of discernment, a sharp, piercing clarity that allows you to see the reality behind the masks people wear. For a long time, you may have walked through life with a certain naivety, projecting your own good heart onto others, assuming that because you would never betray them, they would never betray you. That season is over. This new light means you will begin to read the intentions of others before they even speak. You will sense the spirit operating behind a compliment. You will feel the coldness of envy even when it is wrapped in a warm embrace. This can be jarring, and initially it might make you want to isolate yourself even more, but do not retreat. This discernment is a weapon. It is God's way of ensuring that the parasites who fed on your energy in the last season cannot enter the next one. You are being given the eyes of an eagle, able to spot the serpent in the grass from a mile away, not so you can live in fear, but so you can walk in strategic safety. As you navigate this profound shift in your perception, you will realize that your internal operating system is being rewritten. The old software, which was based on survival, trauma responses, and the need for external validation, is being uninstalled. This leaves a temporary void, a space where you might feel unsure of how to act because the old triggers no longer produce the same reactions. You need a new framework to understand this upgraded state of being. This is why I often speak about the necessity of having a map. When you are navigating this transition from the wilderness to the promised land, you need a structure that helps you understand what is happening to you. This is the core purpose of the 3 Keys to a Prosperous Life. This is not just a book, it is a trilogy designed as a practical guide for the chosen to finally awaken to who they really are. It's about healing those invisible locks that have kept you cycling in scarcity and learning how to expand with stability. We talk about receiving, sustaining, and multiplying without that heavy burden of guilt. Whether you prefer to read the ebook or listen to the audiobook while you go about your day, this trilogy is the blueprint for the next phase of your existence. If you feel that pull to go deeper, look for the link in the pinned comment or the description. It is a resource for those ready to stop surviving and start governing. With this new framework in mind, consider the concept of capacity. The reason God allowed the pressure to be so intense, the reason the crushing felt like it would destroy you, was to expand your spiritual capacity. You cannot pour the ocean into a thimble. To carry the weight of the glory that is coming, your vessel had to be stretched. The stretching is painful, but the capacity is permanent. You are now capable of handling levels of influence, wealth, and responsibility that would have crushed the version of you that existed 3 years ago. Notice how things that used to trigger a panic attack now only register as a minor inconvenience. Notice how crises that would have sent you into a spiral of depression now simply trigger a response of prayer and strategy. This is the evidence of your expansion. You are no longer fragile. You have become anti-fragile, a being that gets stronger when exposed to stresses. However, there is a subtle danger in this new territory that you must be aware of. It is the addiction to chaos. When you have lived in survival mode for so long, fighting battles every day, your nervous system sets its baseline to high alert. You become accustomed to the adrenaline, the cortisol, the constant feeling of needing to put out fires. Now that God is bringing you into a season of peace and order, you might find yourself feeling strangely bored or uneasy. You might unconsciously go looking for problems just to feel normal again. You must recognize this for what it is, a withdrawal symptom from the toxicity of the past. Do not sabotage your peace just because you are unfamiliar with it. You must retrain your nervous system to accept safety as your new baseline. When the quiet comes, do not fill it with noise. Sit in it. Let your soul catch up to your spirit. This is where the deep restoration happens. If you are learning to embrace this new peace, take a moment to like this video. It helps signal to others that this is a safe harbor for them as well. This recalibration of your internal world will inevitably ripple out into your physical reality, specifically regarding who has access to you. You will find that your tolerance for superficiality has hit zero. In the past, you might have engaged in gossip, small talk, or low vibrational complaints just to fit in or to make others feel comfortable. You can no longer do that. It physically drains you now. When you hear people complaining without seeking a solution, you will feel a physical recoil. This is not you being judgmental. It is your spirit rejecting a frequency that is no longer compatible with your destiny. You are vibrating at the frequency of solutions, of kingdom advancement, of divine creativity. You cannot tune back into the frequency of victimhood without compromising your anointing. This will cause some people to fall away. Let them go. Do not chase what is leaving, and do not cling to what is dead. The pruning of your social circle is not a punishment, it is a promotion. The table is being prepared, and God is very selective about who gets a seat in this season. There is a mystery here that many miss. When you begin to walk in this new authority, you will attract two kinds of people: those who are assigned to support your vision, and those who are assigned to distract you from it. The distractions will often come disguised as good opportunities or flattering friendships. This is why that discernment we spoke of earlier is so critical. You must learn to test the spirits. Not every open door is a God door. Some are trapdoors. The enemy knows he cannot stop you with a frontal assault anymore. You are too strong for that. So he will try to stop you with entanglement. He will try to get you committed to projects, people, or causes that are good, but not God. They will eat up your time and drain your resources, leaving you with nothing for your true assignment. You must learn the holy power of the word no. Your no protects your yes. Every time you say no to a distraction, you are saying yes to your destiny. As you stand in this place of spiritual nobility, you will also notice a change in how the physical world responds to you. This may sound strange to the rational mind, but it is a spiritual reality. Nature recognizes the sons and daughters of God. You might find animals behaving differently around you, drawn to the peace you carry. You might find that chaotic situations suddenly calm down when you walk into the room. This is the peace that surpasses understanding, manifesting as an atmospheric shift. You are becoming a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer just reflects the temperature of the room. A thermostat sets it. When you walk into a workplace, a home, or a grocery store, you bring the climate of the kingdom with you. You don't have to say a word. Your very presence disrupts the darkness. The demons that torment others become uncomfortable in your presence because the light you carry burns them. This is why some people might instantly dislike you without knowing you. It's not them, it's the demons in them reacting to the Christ in you. Do not take it personally. Wear their rejection as a badge of honor. We must also address the echo of the past. Just as you are stepping fully into this new dimension, you may experience a sudden, intense resurgence of old memories, old temptations, or even the return of ex-partners and old friends. This is a common spiritual phenomenon. It is the extinction burst. When a behavior or a connection is about to be extinguished forever, it flares up one last time with great intensity. The enemy is checking the locks. He wants to see if there is any hook left in you that he can grab onto. If an old lover returns, it is not a sign that you are meant to be together. It is a test to see if you still value your past more than your future. If an old addiction whispers to you, it is not because you are weak. It is because that demon is starving and looking for a meal. Starve it. Do not engage. Do not romanticize the Egypt you left behind. There is nothing there for you but slavery and bricks without straw. Keep your face set like flint toward Jerusalem. This fortitude you are building is not just for you. You are becoming a pillar. In architecture, a pillar bears the weight of the structure so that others can find shelter under the roof. You are being built to carry the weight of glory for your lineage. You are the cycle breaker, yes, but you are also the foundation layer. The decisions you make right now in the secret place are laying the groundwork for your children and your children's children. You are changing the genetic expression of your family line. Science calls it epigenetics. Scripture calls it the blessing of 1,000 generations. By refusing to bow to anxiety, by refusing to partner with poverty, by refusing to accept dysfunction as normal, you are literally rewriting the biological and spiritual code of your descendants. This is why the battle has been so hard. You weren't just fighting for a better weekend, you were fighting for a better century. If this mission resonates with your spirit, consider subscribing to join this community of cycle breakers. We are building a fortress of wisdom, brick by brick. Now, let us look at the concept of divine acceleration. You have endured a season of delay. It felt like walking through mud. But Amos 9:13 speaks of a time when the plowman will overtake the reaper. This is a poetic way of describing supernatural acceleration. When God releases you, things will move fast. You will accomplish in months what would normally take years. This is not magic, it is the result of alignment. When the wheels of a car are perfectly aligned, there is no friction, and it moves effortlessly at high speeds. Your season of suffering was the alignment process. God was adjusting your character, your motives, and your vision until they were perfectly in line with His will. Now that the alignment is complete, the friction is gone. Prepare for speed. Prepare for phone calls that change your life in an afternoon. Prepare for ideas that download into your mind fully formed. The delay was not a denial. It was the gathering of potential energy. Like an arrow pulled back against the bowstring, the further you are pulled back, the further you will fly. This acceleration requires a new level of stewardship. You must become a master of your time and your focus. You can no longer afford to be casual with your day. The successful warrior is disciplined. This doesn't mean you must be rigid or robotic, but you must be intentional. How do you start your morning? What is the first thing you feed your mind? If you wake up and immediately scroll through social media, you are drinking from the sewer before you drink from the well. Give the first fruits of your day to the Creator. Silence, scripture, gratitude. These tune your instrument before the concert begins. If you go into the world out of tune, you will create dissonance. But if you calibrate your spirit first, you will create harmony, even in the midst of noise. There is a specific instruction for you regarding your voice. For a long time, you may have felt silenced or felt that your words carried no weight. That has changed. God is restoring the roar to your throat. But this roar is not about shouting, it is about weightiness. Your words now carry spiritual mass. When you speak blessing, it lands. When you speak correction, it cuts. Because of this increased power, you must be rigorous in taming your tongue. You cannot afford to speak curses over yourself or others, even in jest. Do not say, "I'm dying," when you are laughing. Do not say, "I'm broke," even if your bank account is low. Speak what you are becoming, not what you are seeing. Your words are the rudders of your ship. If you keep talking about the storm, you will steer into it. If you talk about the haven, you will steer toward it. Prophesy to your dry bones. Speak life to your dead situations. You are made in the image of a God who spoke the universe into existence. Your speech has creative power. Use it responsibly. As you walk this path, you will also discover the theology of rest. The religious spirit tells you that you must work yourself to the bone to please God. That is a lie from the pit. God instituted the Sabbath before the law was ever given. Rest is a weapon of warfare. The enemy wants you exhausted because a tired soldier makes mistakes. A tired soldier is easily discouraged. When you rest, you are declaring that you trust God to run the universe without your help. You are declaring that you are a son or daughter, not a slave. Sleep is a spiritual act. Taking a walk in nature is a spiritual act. Enjoying a meal with loved ones is a spiritual act. Do not let the grind culture of the world infect your kingdom mindset. You work from a place of rest, not for a place of rest. You are seated in heavenly places with Christ. You are not running around trying to earn a seat. From that seated position, you govern. Let's go deeper into the hiddenness you might still be feeling. Even though the light is breaking, there are parts of your life that God is still keeping under a veil. This is for your protection. In the ancient world, treasures were buried or hidden to keep them safe from raiders. God is hiding your next big move from the enemy. Do not be in a hurry to broadcast everything you are doing. There is power in secrecy. Mary pondered things in her heart. She didn't post them on the town square. Let your results speak for you. Let your fruit be the announcement. When you announce your plans prematurely, you invite premature warfare. You invite the jealousy of those who are not ready to see you rise. Build in the dark, launch in the light. The element of surprise is a key tactical advantage. Let the enemy be confused by your silence until the moment your victory is undeniable. You are also undergoing a shift in your relationship with time. The Greeks had two words for time: chronos and kairos. Chronos is chronological time, seconds, minutes, hours. Kairos is the opportune moment, the divine appointment. You are moving from living in chronos to living in kairos. You will find that you are being in the right place at the right time more often. You will meet the person you needed to meet exactly when you needed to meet them. This is what it means to walk in the Spirit. You are syncing your rhythm with the heartbeat of heaven. To maintain this sync, you must remain fluid. Do not hold your plan so tightly that you cannot pivot when God nudges you. Be like water, not like stone. Water can flow around obstacles. Stone just crashes against them. The Spirit is like the wind. You cannot predict where it comes from or where it goes, but you can set your sails to catch it. Consider the phantom limb pain of your old identity. Sometimes, even though you have been healed, you will feel the ache of the old wounds. You might feel a wave of the old insecurity or the old fear of abandonment. Do not be alarmed. This is just the neural pathways firing one last time before they atrophy. It is a ghost. Do not invite the ghost to dinner. Acknowledge the feeling. Thank it for trying to protect you in the past, and then dismiss it. I see you, fear, but you don't live here anymore. That room has been rented to faith. This gentle but firm dismissal is how you retrain your brain. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. You decide what thoughts get to stay and have tea and which ones get kicked out at the door. Furthermore, there is a dimension of restitution coming your way. The years that the locusts have eaten will be restored. This is a biblical promise. But restoration in the kingdom is not one-to-one. If a thief is caught, he must pay back sevenfold. The enemy has been caught stealing your joy, your peace, your health, and your finances. He is now under a divine mandate to pay it back with interest. Look for this restitution. It may not come in the way you expect. The money the enemy stole might come back as a divine idea that generates 10 times the amount. The relationship the enemy destroyed might be restored by bringing a new community that loves you deeper than the old one ever could. God is a master economist. He never wastes pain. He recycles it into power. As you embrace this sevenfold restoration, you must also prepare your heart against pride. Pride is the silent killer of revivals. When the blessings start to pour in, and they will, it is easy to start thinking, my hand has done this. I was smart enough. I was strong enough. But that is the moment the grace lifts. You must cultivate a posture of perpetual humility. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. It is acknowledging that every good and perfect gift comes from above. Keep your face on the floor in the secret place so you can stand tall in the public place. The higher the tree grows, the deeper the roots must go. If the branches grow wider than the roots are deep, the tree will topple in the first storm. Your root system is your intimacy with God. Neglect everything else before you neglect that. There is also a new assignment regarding intercession that is falling upon you. You will find yourself burdened for people or situations that have nothing to do with you personally. You might wake up in the middle of the night with a face in your mind. Do not ignore this. This is the Holy Spirit trusting you with a prayer assignment. You are being deputized as a watchman on the wall. Your prayers have the power to shift the outcomes of lives you may never meet. This is a high honor. It means God trusts you with his secrets. When you feel that burden, pray until it lifts. You are clearing the atmosphere for others. You are the icebreaker ship clearing a path through the frozen ocean so that the supply ships can get through. It is heavy work, but the reward is great. You are likely beginning to experience a change in your appetite, not just for food, but for information. The entertainment that used to amuse you now feels vapid and empty. You can't watch the same shows, listen to the same music, or consume the same media. It feels like eating cardboard. This is because your spirit is craving nutrient-dense food. You are hungry for truth, for wisdom, for deep understanding. Feed that hunger. Read the books that challenge you. Listen to the teachings that stretch you. You are in a growth spurt. When a child goes through a growth spurt, they eat everything in sight. Spiritually, you are growing rapidly, so you need to consume high-quality spiritual calories. Do not starve your spirit while stuffing your mind with junk. Let us address the imposter syndrome that tries to creep in at this level. As you step into rooms you never thought you'd enter, a voice will whisper, "You don't belong here. They're going to find out you're a fraud." Silence that voice with the truth of your identity. You are not there because of your resume. You are there because of your assignment. You are not there to impress them. You are there to impact them. You carry a solution they don't have. You have the oil. Even if they are more educated, wealthier, or more experienced, they are spiritually dry, and you are a walking well of living water. The